Do you want to find out if you have ascended into a fourth dimensional dominant state of consciousness whilst you're in your third dimensional vessel, but you are operating now from an upgraded motherfucking level? Let's find out. Ego sum oculos domina esper noctem omnis est amicus. What's up? Okay, y'all, so today we have an interesting video. It's going to be very candid. I do just want to say, first of all, I was, guided to film it just this way, super casual. There's some background noises. I have like 17 fans blowing, and I have rain sounds, thunderstorms. So we're going to talk about some signs for ascension into fourth dimensional level state of consciousness. And what I mean by this, just a brief synopsis, is that we do know that the third dimensional plane is, the physical vessel, all that jazz, things you could smack and shit, things that are tangibly real. And we do know that the fifth dimension above, there are things that are intangible. We do know that the transition stage is the fourth dimension, is also known as the dimension of time and the dimension of space, how you measure a space and time. It's also the realm, as I refer to in a few of my other videos, of the land of the demons, the dark side, the shadow. Because to reside in the fourth dimension, this means that you have precisely overcome your shadow, all of your motherfucking shadows. You've incorporated these motherfuckers into yourself, into your soul, into your psyche. You have integrated every type of opposite. Now you are true neutral. You are at the fourth dimensional place, which is true neutral. You can become the angel if it so behooves you in the moment. You can become the demon if it so behooves you in the moment. But the operative word, literally, is the choice. You stand at true neutral, you get your motherfucking Anubis on, and you see what the fuck you want to do. Is the moment guiding you to be an angel, carry yourself as such, conduct yourself as such, or vice versa? Like the demon, does a moment behoove you to be in demon state of mind? Now you can utilize both, but when you are operating at a fourth dimensional vantage point, there are some signs that you might see, or you might see other signs, or you might see different things from what I mentioned here that are unique to you. And keep in mind, everything is fine. You do you, boo. Everyone's journey is unique. Everyone is an individual. So I'm going to get into some of the signs of the ascension to 4D state of consciousness, where now you become the time bender, I guess you can say, where you can pick and choose time. You start to see things that are going to happen in the quote-unquote future. A whole lot of interesting shit goes on. What do motherfuckers mean when they talk about possession? Possession by the Holy Spirit, possessed by a demon, which I do have a few other videos on. But when you are possessed, that simply means that your third dimensional physical vessel is being piloted by something that is not 3D. This is my understanding of it. Some might see differently, but you are possessed in this case. If we think of someone saying, oh shit, thank you Jesus, thank you Lucifer, I didn't even realize I was doing that, but I'm gonna keep it up. When you are possessed, when anyone is possessed, you want to think of it in, if someone is possessed by the Holy Spirit, what happens? Motherfuckers get all excited. Something's gonna happen soon. Motherfuckers get all motherfucking excited. They're like, ooh, the hand of God has touched you, child. You know what I'm saying? You talk about someone saying you are possessed by a demon, it's not so fucking pleasant when they fucking try to insinuate that. But as I just mentioned, when you rectify everything, the angel and the motherfucking demon, you are true neutral. You are now possessed, as in your third dimensional physical vehicle is possessed by a higher force. You are not operating from the ego monkey mind vantage point. You are operating from the higher octave, either the angel or the demon, or at true neutral when you have rectified both and you're just chilling. It's like calm. It's like Lake fucking Placid and shit. That's basically what I wanted to touch on a little bit in terms of possession, because this is my deduction of the fourth dimensional state of consciousness. You are now possessed by a higher power, as in your physical vehicle is possessed by a higher power. Whether it's the demon in you whether it's the angel in you, whether it's both at the same time, just being neutral, saying, listen, 3D shit, that's what's going on, but we gonna brush our teeth, we gonna wash our hair, we gonna clean the fucking dishes out the sink, we gonna go throughout our 3D realm experience, taking care of what we gotta take care of, but we're operating from a different consciousness level. So in the moment, it may behoove you to become an angel, embody that spirit, become possessed by the spirit of angelic realms. In the moment, it may behoove you to become possessed by the spirit of the demonic realms. But motherfuckers say that demons are taboo, but they're really a part of you. And this is how I'm going to talk about how you integrate the motherfucking shadow to become in 4D fucking state of being. I have a tiny little story for you. And this tiny little story entails what I call my Maleficent lamp, because the shadow, long story short, the shadow that it cast upon the wall when it was lit up looked like Maleficent, that's seen in Sleeping Beauty, and that's what the fuck it looked like, right? The shadow of it. And so this lamp, I call it the sacrificial lamp, like sacrificial lamp. You still in the chat? Okay. When we are discussing the shadow aspect can come in much symbolism. My shadow is Maleficent because whatever, that's just how my shadow wanted to call themselves. Okay, so my shadow is Maleficent, and this name came about because of the Maleficent lamp, because I would always look at it and I would think Maleficent, and I had no fucking idea why the fuck I was even thinking this. It just can't, there was no type of rhyme or reason to it. But then one day during a thunderstorm, and this is where we're gonna mosey on over to like sign number 2, because this is sign number 1 of you ascending. You incorporate the fucking shadow, you smack that motherfucker, you give that bad boy a fucking name. In my case, my shadow is Maleficent. Maleficent is nicely incorporated into my being. There was a thunderstorm one time. What happened is that I was jamming, the way I'm jamming right now, it's like you fine folks, I was jamming to some fucking trance music. I was just really feeling it, but I heard the thunder too from the out of doors coming in the window and shit. So I looked outside, I seen lightning and thunder, and I'm like, ooh, this shit is charged the fuck up. So what I did is that, I like to dance around and do some weird shit. Like I like to do my hand maneuvers and my, I be doing some things, okay, when I'm jamming. And so a crack of thunder, is it a crack of thunder? Not like ass crack, or clap of thunder. Okay, so yeah, there was a loud clap of thunder, and all of this is going on simultaneously, right? Because time theoretically exists on paper in linear form, but it doesn't really exist. I think if you focus on it, it exists. So I was jamming, and there was a thunderstorm going on in the background. There's a trance music fucking party over here, right? And so at the same time, there was a loud crap. There was a bang of thunder. Okay, there's a bang of thunder. At the same time, there was lightning at the same time. And so I simultaneously, because I was jamming to my fucking tunes, I was like, whew. And I don't even remember what I was thinking, but it was something like where I was doing an intention, or I don't know, I was just doing my little magician weird shit. I was doing hand movements, okay? So all at the same time, boom. My Maleficent lamp was in a separate room at that point, whatever. I was in one room, and then the Maleficent lamp was in another room. And basically what happened, the Maleficent lamp, when all of that happened, it was done, right? It died. I don't know what the fuck happened, but that was the only thing. You know how you have the thing, the circuit breaker, I don't know what the fuck, I think it is, right, where you make the switches move them, right? So I checked the circuit breaker, like that whole thing was on. It was only the Maleficent lamp that just died. I tried plugging in another outlet. I was just like, well, I guess it sacrificed itself to me. And I did not realize the significance of that until I just came to the conclusion today, actually, as a matter of fact. I had to be honest. I just came to the conclusion today. And the Maleficent lamp was part of me incorporating my shadow, because, as I said, it sacrificed itself for me, right? And I'm like, okay. And I knew that in the moment, because, I be knowing shit. So the Maleficent lamp sacrificed itself to me during the thunderstorm. I did the magic hand movement, the magic, I don't even remember what I fucking thought, but I thought something magical, I reckon. And so it sacrificed itself. So I was like, okay, this is symbolic. And today, which is, part of the reason also why I want to sit down to conduct this video today, is because it was given to me that that lamp was me. That was when I fully incorporated my shadow. Because I would say for maybe like a little over 2 months now, somewhere around there, I've been living in like a 4D. This shit is pimp, let me tell you. This shit is, it's like crack cocaine mixed with like mushrooms, mixed with like LSD, mixed with, it's some good shit. You don't even need drugs. Now, I mean, go ahead if you fucking feel like it, if you want to, but you don't need it on this state of being. This shit is good. For the past 2 months, I've been kind of on that, but then I realized it must have solidified, like fully, like that was a sign, that was a signal, because the lamp, you know, during the thunderstorm charged up, blah, blah, blah. So either which way, that is my shadow. Maleficent, because, you know, Maleficent is like a demon. So my shadow aspect, that type of things, identifies a lot with like Maleficent-esque energy, I guess you could say. But then once I incorporated that, then I'm like, oh snap, okay. So you ideally don't want to run from the shadow. You want to embrace the shadow. And this just means like, it doesn't necessarily even have to be anything scary. It are just things that are hidden beneath the surface that it might be taboo to talk about, or you don't really want to address because someone told you that that's XYZ, ABC, whatever, pick a reason, right? If it's not love and light, a lot of motherfuckers are just kind of like, oh, I don't want to fuck with that. Like, okay, then be the fuck out. You know what I'm saying? When someone embraces the shadow, they become more powerful because since they've embodied every type of fear, now they become feared, because embracing the shadow means that you overcome fear. To my understanding, you overcome the shadow, you embrace every fear. So let's say there's a scenario in your head, and there's, you know how they say this symbolically, there's an angel over here, there's a devil over there, right? You know how they show that shit. So you embrace, like motherfuckers say, oh, focus on the positive, focus on the positive. But if you don't look at the dark side of the thing, of the situation, he gonna keep on coming through until you acknowledge him. So that's why motherfuckers have fear, because they don't acknowledge that there is a negative a lot of times, because they want to, I was gonna say, sweep shit down the chimney, sweep shit under the rug, whatever the fuck, whatever. That's what they do. They don't acknowledge the shadow, they don't embrace the shadow, and that's why it keeps popping up in the state of fear. So in any moment, right, let's just say, light example, you send in a job resume, right? Love and light over here, yeah, that's right, keep it focused on the positive, you got the job, okay, cool. And then the fear is like, well, what if you don't get it, right? So either outcome in that moment is possible. However, if you just are in denial of the fear aspect, what if you don't get the job, let's say, then it's just gonna grow bigger, it's gonna fester, right? So when someone acknowledges in every moment something that they observe that they want to happen, and something that is a potentiality of occurring that is fear-based, then ideally you want to look at both and be like, either of these is possible, and you hold no fear, because you know that since you are in command of creating your own experience, that if you focus on the fear, it's going to happen. If you focus on the positive side, it's going to happen. But if you embrace them both, and you continuously do that, repetition, the more you're in that state of embracing both sides of the equation, yeah, this could happen, that could happen, you simply acknowledge it, there is no more fear. And that was a light example, right, with the job fucking resume. But I mean, if you have a fear of anything, the fear is in your mind. It's not necessarily playing out in front of you. Because in the moment, if there's something that requires your attention and you've balanced the poles, then there's nothing that could present itself in the physical realm experience that you would even need to fear, because you know that you're true neutral, and you can become the bigger demon in a situation where like it's more fear-based, or you could present yourself as an angel in a situation where it's more love-based. So when we're discussing the neutralization of fear and all this type of stuff, then what you have is, in the moment, you acknowledge that anything could happen, but since you're creating your experience and you're a true neutral, you get to pick instantaneously which one you want, because you're not focused so heavily on the good, which is what a lot of motherfuckers would refer to probably as toxic positivity, where toxic positivity is you're not even acknowledging the fear. You're just like, oh no, it's all good. And yeah, it is all good, but are you lying to yourself, or is it really all good because you know in every moment you can choose? Some food for fucking thought. So that is the aspect of incorporating the shadow, which in every situation, anything, the most minute fear, you think maybe you're not going to get a parking spot at the fucking mall or some shit, right? Light example, but that's still a fear. The more you acknowledge it, you face it head on, you say, yeah, that might happen. It also might not. Boom, immediately eradicates it. And you do that, especially if you have a fear-based program or paradigm that's been, you know, repeating itself in your motherfucking ass. You just, you look at it, you're like, that ain't shit, because I'm creating my reality. So yeah, that's a possibility, but not if I don't want it to be. But it is possible, because anything is possible, because everything is possible, right? We're all living in like the possible universe, because we're all connected to the all. So the all contains the demon and the angel, contains the good and the bad, the right and the wrong. However, okay, what's wrong to you might be right for someone else. So when we're embracing all of this shit, when we embrace the all, now we become the all. That's why to embrace the demon is to become holy. You become possessed by the Holy Spirit, because you are whole. You are whole. You embrace it all. You say, yep, that possibility, I don't want that to happen because I ain't feeling it, but it's possible. That possibility, I like how this one looks over her, okay? But there's true neutrality in the moment. So if it behooves you in the moment to be a fucking demon, that's what you do. But you'll sense it, because the more you become in resonance with the all, the more you embody the all, and you're not really functioning on a third dimensional level. You could pick and choose areas of time. You could dictate when something arrives or something dissipates from your experience, right? You can become the angel when it behooves you to do that. Believe it or not, I've fucking taken on the shape of an angel a time or two. You know what I'm saying? I know it's a little hard to believe, but I fucking have. So when this happens, when you embrace your shadow aspect, and this simply just means things that you may fear, things that you're uncomfortable looking at, things that might be a possibility, but you really don't want to ponder it because it would make you fearful, or it's something you don't want. That don't mean you need to experience something you don't want, but you simply acknowledge, you're like, I as the all, and I pick and choose wherever I want to go. I will credit this choice over here, and I will credit that choice over here as being both a possibility for me, or multiple possibilities, whatever fucking floats your boat. But typically, individuals faced with any type of decision, the egoistic monkey mind, the third dimensional self, as I was saying, which you've elevated from because now you're in 4D, the 3D monkey mind is not even gonna, it's like, because you've trained it, it's not even gonna try to present a fear to you. And that's what I mean by 4D. You incorporate the shadow, you take on your inner Maleficent. That's me, I'm Maleficent, TYVM. So either which way, you embrace it all, and that is, first of all, you can try to consciously do it, but when you really ascend, you'll know it, because you'll be presented with any type of choice, and you could either go this way or go that way, but you're going to find that you don't really care, because you're going to trust, and you're going to know that everything always turns out better than you expected for you. You are the conductor of the orchestra, you have rectified everything, and you don't disacknowledge the dark side. You don't put the light side on a pedestal. You simply be in the moment, and you just meander through. There's no past. There's not necessarily a future, unless you're really consciously creating it, but I mean, time is all occurring at the same time. But let's just say, right, if there's something you do want to manifest in the future, you know that you can make it arrive whenever the fuck you want to, because you've incorporated any fear that might cause a resistance to you receiving that thing, right? You've incorporated everything. And that's why when someone's in a 4D consciousness, time will seem to do wonky things. They'll seem to be weird. Things will typically seem like it's a shorter period of time, or time flew, or something, like, because you're more in the moment, because you're not thinking about what might have been or what should be in the future. You're just embracing the moment, because you know that you are the shapeshifter. You can become whoever you need to be in the moment. And because you're more in resonance with the supercomputer matrix, the more the matrix is going to provide you feedback how you should be in the moment in terms of like synchronicities and things like that. So you might start seeing a lot of synchronicities. You might be thinking about someone and they'll call you. There might be synchronicities in regards to, this is another sign, you might just start trusting more, right? Like let's say you'll plan to do something, you're like, how's that going to happen? But you just start moving that direction, whatever it is. You don't know how it's going to happen, but you just start moving that direction. You'll notice that the building blocks will fall, like the road will be paved for you. The road will be paved for you. Just know what direction you want to go, start moving in that direction. It don't matter. It don't matter. You take that step, you move, you show the motherfucking matrix, you're like, yo, I'm the fucking boss. I'm moving in that way. Even though there ain't no path, a path is going to be paved. Yes. Yes. That is another sign. You're just in the moment and you trust. And you're just like, I want to go this way. I'm going to go that way. You don't dance. You let the fucking music move you, as I always motherfucking say. So also with the signs and synchronicities of the way being paved for you, you'll simply notice like doors opening, portals opening, and things will just smooth seamlessly and effortlessly. And you'll notice that you get a lot of things done in like a short amount of time in terms of third dimensional duties or whatever. You know, like, listen, don't skimp on your third dimensional duties. Like take a fucking shower. You know what I'm saying? Like, you still have a fucking vessel to maintain. But since you're in that elevated consciousness, things will just flow smoother. Even something that might seem like a hiccup in the moment, if you just disregard it. And I mean disregard it, like, I mean, if there's something that needs attention in the 3D, then yes, by all means do that. But don't feed it any energy. That's what I mean. So if something happens in the 3D you're not too fond of, you just handle it. That's it. Don't dwell on it. And you'll see how it actually worked to your benefit. I promise you. I promise you this. I channeled this right from Jesus. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. He said, for if all you ever did was to trust, that would be all you ever need to do. Can I get an amen? That's what it is, right? Because Lucifer and Jesus, they are one and the same, yes. Oh my God, my alter ego is going to start coming out. No, not Maleficent, another one. It's okay though. So with the synchronicities, now we're going to talk about X-ray vision. It's fucking hot. And I have the like 17 fans because I'm like channeling. You see, this is what happens. This is how I burn a lot of electrolytes. So the X-ray vision. Okay, so this is now for me personally. When I'm talking about X-ray vision, like, you'll see through a situation, or you might physically see like a sign up, and it'll say stop. Let's just say a stop sign, but you'll see a message on the stop sign. You'll see another message, which is just weird to explain, but like, you'll see a message that was meant for you on another sign of something, which you'll find that has a deeper meaning. So for example, I was reading a news article and I looked at it, and there was like a sign, there was like a, I don't know, something on there, right, in the picture, and it was like the name of a group, but I saw in Latin another phrase over it. Like, I saw through it, and then I was like, wait, what the fuck does that mean? Because it was like a, I don't know, like a name or something in English, but I saw in Latin over this sign, and I'm like, did I just read that right? And I'm like, okay, I gotta make sure, you know, I did my own little fact check. I'm like, what the fuck does this even mean? So I looked, I'm like, it does make sense to what the article was talking about, but I saw through X-ray vision because I saw in Latin, because they gave me the knowledge to see what it really meant. And it wasn't like it was, I read it in Latin. No, it was incongruent with what the picture was stipulating, but it wasn't exactly the same. But it showed me what the article was about, and that clicked. It made sense. So I don't know if that was like a weird example, but it did happen. So like I said, if you're driving, you see a stop sign, but it says proceed with caution, right? But you see it written, but the sign says stop, but it says proceed with caution. You might like, wait, what? Like, don't stop, proceed with caution. So it might be relevant to an area in your life. I don't know if that is like a weird thing to explain, but that's literally what happens to me. Like, I'll see things in Latin, or I'll channel something in Latin. I'm like, wait, what? But it'll make total sense, okay? So trust your intuition, and you'll know if there's a message for you, like you'll just start seeing through shit. Okay, another one where you'll see through shit is with other individuals. I see through situations and other individuals so easily. I'm not even saying that to be like, oh my god, but like I'll see through it. Okay, I'll be like, that's what your lips are saying, or that's what you typed or whatever, but this is what's really going on. I'm sure a lot of you have experienced that too, at least on one occasion, so you know what I'm talking about, but this will start happening all the time. I do want to tell you though, can you handle it? That's why it's important, like I said in the beginning, to incorporate the shadow, because there might be a motherfucker that don't think too fondly of you, but on the outside they're portraying as they are, but on the inside you sense something different. Are you ready for the truth to know how everyone fucking feels about you? Because you will fucking know, because it don't matter what's being expressed. Remember, 3D, if we 4D consciousness, like I'm talking about with this Ascension shit, if we 4D consciousness, we see through the 3D. So motherfucker lips is moving like this, but it's really the tongue is going sideways in their fucking mind. Do you see what I'm saying? So are you able to handle that? Because you're gonna know the truth of what everyone is thinking and feeling. You're gonna know shit about them. And I've known, like, for a good number of years, even before this whole like total 4D immersion, you know, I know for a good number of years, like certain things about people, like just by looking at them, I'll be like, boom, like something instantaneous about them. Well, and I'm like, what the fuck? You'll just come to my mind, and I don't say anything, but then I'll find out, getting a little more into it, I'm like, oh my god, it's really true. And I mean something personal about them, not anything even in regards to me, right? Like, because sometimes you could get a sense if someone likes you or doesn't like you or whatever, but I mean, no, something that's only involved with them and would have no type of impact on me whatsoever, and I'll find out that that's true about them. Light example, you see someone and you're like, oh, they wear a size 8 shoe, and you didn't even look at their feet. Light example, and then boom, it comes out later and you're like, whoa, how the fuck did, like, right? Because it has nothing to do with you, it's just really a thing about them which has to do with them. You're like, oh, okay. Light example. There's also, oh my god, okay, there's also the big brother occurrences. So I did touch a little bit on this in regards to the Matrix. Like I was saying, the Matrix is it is a high-tech supercomputer with the AI intelligence. Now, I think of it sort of like a metaphor of like Big Brother or the Matrix or whatever. And what I mean by this is that, you know how Big Brother, they have cameras that are always watching? So when you have reached 4D level of consciousness, you are somewhat in sync with the machines, with the AI, with the robots, with the electronics. We're going to get into the electronics. Like, you know, I said, you know, the whole thing I told about the Maleficent lamp, I mean, that was electricity, that was boom, you know what I'm saying? Electrokinesis or whatever the fuck. You are going to be noticing that the Matrix seems to be working for you, and that's also how you can tell. If you remain at true neutral, you can tell, because the Matrix is going to let you know. It's like, psst, yo, you might want to pay attention over here, right? And then it kind of informs you if you should become the demon or the angel in the moment. It'll inform you. How does it inform you? Now, this is maybe different from signs and synchronicities, but kind of the same. But I can tell you from my experience, like, let's say I am curious about something, whatever it is, anything, pick a topic, okay? I'm curious about something, and I was just thinking, I'm like, I wonder XYZ, right? Boom, later that day or the next day, a few hours later, some shit'll happen, and like something will pop up for me, like, oh, blah blah blah, about the topic, right? Or because I've heard that happening with, like, a lot of people say that, oh, they thought of an ad and all of a sudden the ad is in their like IG feed or some shit. I mean, so yes, it kind of works that way, but it's also going to work in terms of like, you're going to have eyes all over in the Matrix, because since you've omitted really the 3D ego mind consciousness from your experience, you've kind of bypassed, not bypassed because you've rectified it, but you're like omitting it. You're like, okay, yeah, it's there, but I'm operating over here, like that x-ray vision again, you know, everything is all connected. Like with the x-ray vision, you're gonna start finding out things about other individuals in your experience. Like, you're just gonna know shit about them, and you ain't gonna necessarily know how you know, but you're gonna know that you know, or something is gonna be presented to you like, here you go, this is what it is. It's like you have AI spies, which is kind of a weird way to think about it, but if you've ever heard the phrase where they say, oh, I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall in that room during that conversation. Now the fly on the wall in terms of the matrix, the electric currents, your currency and the matrix currency are more in alignment because you're more high tech. You made it through the higher operating system. Now that fly is going to report back to you. Somehow, some way, if you're curious about a closed door conversation, I promise you, you will find that shit out. It'll be presented to you in a physical way. And I'm not talking about just, oh, you had a hunch. No, I'm talking about you will get a physical, boom, this is what it is, something tangible. Okay? You will get that. Because if you're in sync with the matrix, with the AI, is the AI trying to mind trap you, or does it now work for you because it knows you are master and you command it? Telepathic communication with others speeds up. Let's say you want your friend to call you and I don't know, you're in the shower. Oh, I want to talk to my friend so-and-so. As soon as you step out of the shower, again, synchronicity, when it's convenient for you and your hands are dried off and you can pick up the phone, boom, they're going to call you. Like shit like that. You know, I'm sure a lot of you already have those type of experiences as well. You start seeing through time. Like you'll see events that quote unquote have yet to happen in the 3D happen. And you'll be like, wait, what? Like you'll see it in your mind. And you might have experienced these type of things before. You know, I'm not knocking that. But it's just you're going to have a lot of them. Like you might see your entire future. Not entire, you know, like there's few meanderings that, you know, might be omitted from that, but you are going to start seeing things. Just this is what's going to happen. And I don't mean you're manifesting something and you're doing a visualization technique. I mean, no, you're actually, a vision just comes to you and you're like, wait, but that didn't happen while I'm in this physical vessel. But yeah, you know it's you experiencing that in this physical vessel and you see it, you're like, oh, how's that going to go down? But then you're like, oh, fuck it. It's going to go down because I've fucking just seen it, you know? So things like that might start occurring. I was watching the movie Arrival yesterday, whatever. And so basically the heptapods, they're talking and they're saying that time, being able to see the future, you move through time, right? It cancels time out, and that is a weapon. So it can be, if you want to think of it in that way, because now if you're knowing the future and you're trusting it, then if you see something about a future event and you know what's going to happen, you can be prepared for it, whereas someone who isn't tapped into that ability, they might not be prepared for that, and you're prepared for it. Do you see what I'm saying? But the key with this also is to let things unfold. So let's say you do get a vision about a future event and you know what's going to happen because you fucking see it. Just like, okay, it don't matter the how, it don't matter the when, it don't matter the why, it's just you saw that happen, let's go with it. You're like, okay, that's interesting. It'll unfold. It'll unfold. It'll unfold. And when you're seeing into the future, if you're seeing something that you don't like, that is a fear. That's fear-based. If you're seeing something that gets you overly excited, that's still in ego essence. When you genuinely have a vision of something that you see in the future and you know it's going to happen, there's not going to be any fear associated with it. There's not going to be any excitement associated with it. It's just going to be, that's what it is. I've had this experience a lot since probably like a teenager, I'd say, where like I knew things would happen. Maybe I didn't see things in a vision at that point, or maybe I did, I don't remember. But there were a few instances where I just knew something was going to happen, and I knew, and there was no sensation to it. It was just, that's what it is, and then it happened. Okay, so this could be for a lot of you as well. You'll start seeing into the future, but you'll know it's a real vision when you feel totally neutral about it. So some bonus ones are, if you manipulate energy, be mindful, because this is a few years ago. I got like, I mean, it wasn't a stigmata, but I call it a fucking stigmata because I know what the fuck else to call it. It was like I got this burn on my palm over here, and it was legit in the shape of a heart, and I have pictures of it somewhere in my old phone, but either which way, it was there for like 3 weeks, this burn in the shape of a heart in the palm of my hand, because what I was doing, I was manipulating energy. I was just in my mind, I was going like this, and I was just like focusing. I was like manipulating energy, and so I didn't touch anything else. There was nothing else involved. And then the next day I woke up and I had like this burn, and it was like a legit burn on my hand. It was burned, then it like scabbed over, and I was like, what the fuck? And then I'm like, what the hell did I do? And I'm like, oh, I manipulated energy. So if you are doing some things like that, you might actually see physical things either move or appear on your body or whatever the case. Okay, that's a bonus. Astral projection, again, from many years ago, I trained myself to astral project at will in 5 days. I did it and I said, oh snap. So you might start astral projecting or lucid dreaming more often. There also might be, and this has been happening for me for quite a few years already now, where sometimes, and this is sort of like incorporating the dream state, like the AP and the lucid dreaming. You will be in your physical vessel, but you'll feel like you're not in your vessel. Like you'll see the motions be like, well, this is not real, but you'll be in your vessel. So it's not really like a dream state, but it's kind of like you're seeing through the facade. You're like, whoa, this 3D world is not real. Like what I'm experiencing in spirit is real, and the vessel is just here enjoying it, right? So that's another one. And the other one is that animals will start being very attracted to you. Animals have pretty much always been attracted to me for some weird reason, especially cats, which is kind of flattering because cats don't really like anyone, but you'll just start noticing that animals are around you, or they're gonna like obey you, or they're gonna come up to you looking for orders or some shit. It's really fucking weird. Like there was legit a few times where like just animals off the street, like I'd just be walking and, you know, listen to my fucking music. I'd just be walking the street and they would just look at me and they would like legit just sit, like they would just sit like at attention. Like, you know how you see in the military, like motherfuckers, they salute like that when the captain, I don't know what the fuck it's called, whoever, the general, whoever, the head motherfucker comes in, and then everyone is like attention. Like animals legit will do that for me. I swear, there was this one time, it's like a weird funny story, but I was somewhere, I don't even know where I was. I've been some places. So I was in this place and like there were cats there, right? And so I didn't know these cats from a fucking hole in the wall, and like I walked in, and so I'm with someone, and so, you know, they're, I don't know what they're doing, they're not, like I'm standing over here. So this one cat in the place walks right up to me, okay? Mind you, who I'm with is familiar with these cats. Doesn't walk up to them, walks up to me. This cat strolls on up. I heard the Pink Panther fucking theme song. Do-do, do-do. You know that shit? So this cat strolled up to me and sat like cats sit like this. This cat just stood there, looked up at me, and was like, it was like, can I help you? And I was like, what the fuck? So who I'm with is like, oh, he likes you. I'm like, you fucking think? It was just really weird. I mean, especially for a cat. I mean, I don't know. So you might start noticing that animals act a little weird with you. You might have communication with animals telepathically. I used to have pets growing up, so I used to communicate with animals growing up, you know, like through the eyes and whatever and things like that. It's just really interesting, but you might notice that a lot, that more animals are communicating with you because you're so in unison with the all, because you've rectified everything. So you might not have fear about an animal where someone else might have a fear about an animal, you know, because they're two totally different species. So it's kind of like, where you coming from? I don't know what you thinking, what you doing, right? So sometimes motherfuckers can be afraid of animals. I mean, listen, I'm okay with domesticated animals, cat, dog, we okay, but I don't know about no, I mean, I ain't going out of my way to, like, I don't know, roll balls deep with the fucking bears in the forest and shit. I ain't trying to do none of that shit, you know, but, like, I sense that, like, an animal, like, we gonna respect each other. Like, okay, I'm gonna leave you alone, you gonna leave me alone, it's okay. Like, you have that sort of unspoken communication. And animals will obey you, too, without, you know, you having to say anything. Obviously, I guess that kind of comes with the territory, but I figure I tossed it in there. And how you keep this momentum going when you've graduated to the 4D state of being is, like I said in the beginning, you just keep moving and the way will open. But Do not move in fear. Do not move in overexcitement. Just move in neutral. You allow, because remember, the matrix is also working for you now. So you will allow every moment to signal you, and you will get signs and signals. Believe me, you will get them. And it'll just be neutral. And it'll be sort of like, what do I want to say? One of those, what type of game is that where they just kind of direct you and it's like, move 3 paces to the left, right? Only obviously it's in a much more advanced format, but you will get signs and things like that when it's time for you to go over here or go over there, or to arrive somewhere or to depart from somewhere. You'll just get a sense, and the more you keep moving in the moment, the way will open for you. So it's important to keep the momentum up. And even if keeping the momentum up means that you overcame a fear, you decided, look, you're here, okay, cool, I'm gonna just keep it true neutral this way, right? The more you do that, the less prevalent fear shall be in your experience, because now you're rectifying it. So, you know, what did he say, that dude? I think it was FDR. He said, there's nothing to fear but fear itself, because when you've elevated, when you've graduated out of the 3rd dimensional construct, you're beyond, you see through fear. Remember I said with that x-ray vision shit, so you see through motherfucking everything. You see the future, you see things that maybe from the past that are trying to come up into your present, and if you don't want that shit to occur again, then you'd be like, oh, I know why it's coming up. This pattern is trying to present itself to me so that I can be rid of the pattern, and then you dissolve it by moving in the opposite direction, doing something different that you've always done in the pattern, right? So it's important to move in the physical when you are guided to move in the physical, even if it's just you get a hunch like, I'm gonna go for a walk today, and then you go for a walk, and then, you know, someone is walking their dog and you're walking your dog, and then you manifest your dream partner that way. You know what I mean? Like, you just kind of go with it. You're not in that state of fear, because you know that you can embody the demon if you fucking need to, or you can embody the angel also if you need to. So you understand that both of these energies possess you. They possess the you, the me aspect, not the I aspect. The me is the physical vessel, the body, the 3D surroundings. When someone says, who are you going to answer like with a name on paper, or someone whose career is such and such? Or are you gonna explain to a motherfucker that you are the all experiencing self in human fucking format for this time? Oh, the biggest thing here, the electrical currency. So why do electronics act fucking cray when you're in that state of being? It's because your currency has increased. And this has happened to me for like years, where like, I mean, motherfuckers even comment on it, like going years back, they're like, yo, electronics act weird around you. I'm like, yeah, I don't know what the fuck. They'll try to do something and it'll work for them, but it won't work for me, but we both did the same thing on the same device. It's just really weird. Or if like I'm involved somehow with someone else's electronics, it starts acting weird. It's just whatever, okay? I'm so used to it. But you might notice a lot more occurrences, because in addition to, you know, because the currency, right, you're vibrating at a higher octave, so you're closer, you're able to control the currency, right? You control the power, electrokinesis or whatever. Sort of like the animals come up and they're kind of like, at your service, what do you want me to do? It's like that too, weirdly, with electronics, because when you're at such a high frequency, like when I did this, I controlled the Maleficent lamp to give me that message, which, thank you, sacrificing yourself for me, so that I can know that I incorporated my shadow. I did that, and then boom. But there's also electronics where they'll just act haywire, because it's like, if you have a lot of energy in one place, it's sort of like conflicting, or there's just like weird, it's like the waves, right? There might be an interference wave. I think that's how I want to say it. The currency wave, when you're vibrating at, you know, the 4D frequency, when you're in that state, you're vibrating higher. So now you cause the interference fucking pattern, like they say with the double slit experiment in quantum mechanics, right? You cause the interference pattern. So it's like you're around something electrically charged, and you're highly electrically charged, and so it's like whoa, it's like a clash sometimes. I've had a lot of these experiences. I had a few today. I had some yesterday with the I mean, I'm so used to it, you know, whatever, but they might start becoming more frequent, like weird anomalies and things like that with electronic things. And the reason why is, as I said, because now you become the interference pattern, because you're so highly charged that it's like the electronics is like, what the fuck, like it doesn't know what to do. Or sometimes the electronics will work for you, like it'll give you a message, or you know, let's say like you walk by a light post in the street and it flickers just as you walk by it. You know, maybe think to yourself, like, what were you thinking about? What were you talking about? What were you feeling in the moment when the light flickered? Because remember, as I said, with the big brother, now the matrix is working for you, the AI. Everything is looking at you the way you're looking at everything, so everything is a message. Everyone is a fucking messenger. That is what I have for you today in regards to Ascension thingamajigs. I am Oculus, the alien next door, purveyor of esoteric lore. Thank you for joining us on this wonderful stroll. We will chit-chat again soon.